Imagine losing 30 years of your life for a crime you didn't commit. Anthony Ray Hinton was 29 when police took him from his mother's house in Alabama. They said he was a killer. The evidence? A rusty revolver from his home that hadn't been fired in years, and an expert witness who couldn't even see properly. 3 decades later, DNA proved his innocence. But nothing could return the birthdays, the sunsets, the life stolen. Subscribe to Justice Tales, hit like, and tell me, what city are you watching from? In 1985, Birmingham, Alabama was tense. 2 restaurant managers had been murdered in separate robberies, and police were desperate for a suspect. Anthony Ray Hinton, a cheerful, church-going 29-year-old, was working the night shift at a warehouse when detectives showed up. They said his mother's old .38 revolver matched the bullets from the murders. Hinton laughed at first. He'd been at work, the gun was too rusted to fire, and he had no criminal history. But this was the Deep South, and Hinton was a black man in a white courtroom. The public wanted justice. The police wanted a quick arrest. The truth didn't seem to matter. The court assigned him a public defender who refused to hire a qualified ballistics expert. "You're guilty," the lawyer told him. "You're black. You're in Alabama. That's all they need." Hinton's trial was quick. The prosecution's so-called expert, later revealed to be partially blind, testified that the bullets matched the revolver. The defense never challenged it. No fingerprints, no eyewitnesses, no credible motive. Just a rusted gun and the color of his skin. The jury took barely 2 hours to convict him. The judge sentenced him to death. Hinton was sent to Holman Correctional Facility, where death row inmates lived in tiny cells the size of a bathroom. Every execution day, the smell of burning flesh from the electric chair would seep down the hall. For years, he battled depression so deep, he stopped speaking to anyone but God. But then something changed. Hinton decided that if the state was going to take his life, they wouldn't take his soul. He started a prison book club, inspired other inmates, and held on to hope. Meanwhile, attorney Brian Stevenson of the Equal Justice Initiative heard about his case. He fought for years to get new ballistics tests that would eventually prove what Hinton had been saying from the start. The bullets didn't match. In 2015, after 3 decades behind bars, the Supreme Court of the United States unanimously overturned his conviction. The state of Alabama had no choice but to release him. When the gates opened, Hinton walked out into the sunlight, breathing free air, for the first time since his 20s. His mother had died while he was in prison, but her faith in his innocence never wavered. Reporters asked if he was angry. "I've been given a gift," he said softly. "The gift of life. If I waste it in anger, then they've taken even more from me." Still, the question remained. How many more sit in cells right now for crimes they didn't commit? Anthony Ray Hinton's story became one of the most infamous wrongful convictions in U.S. history. His book, The Sun Does Shine, inspired readers. Around the world, he now travels the country advocating for prison reform and the abolition of the death penalty. He reminds audiences that for every person proven innocent, countless others may never get that chance. Alabama never apologized. They never compensated him for the 30 years stolen. But Hinton refuses to be defined by bitterness. He says he lives every day like it's my second birthday. But he also warns, if they can do it to me, they can do it to you. 30 years. 1,096 sunrises stolen. Anthony Ray Hinton walked out a free man. But the justice system that caged him is still holding others. Could your state be keeping an innocent person on death row right now? Subscribe. To Justice Tales, hit the like button and drop your city in the comments. Because if injustice can last 30 years in America, the next story we tell might be happening in your own backyard.